What up, everybody? It's your boy PTK Bland back with another episode of the Shop Podcast. We're doing something completely different this week, doing something new. As most people know, we typically go with the current events, what's going on with gaming in the week or the month or even, the last 6 months, whatever, current news. We're doing a little something different today. We're going to take it back. A lot of us in here, a lot of the people I associate with are, older guys, older guys and girls, and they've been around the block. They've played games since Atari, Nintendo. So we want to talk about some of that. Show some retro gaming love around here. So I do have some good friends with me. Most of you guys already know them, but I will go around the panel as we typically do. Let them introduce themselves. So I'll go ahead and start with our boy Captain Z, Captain Zasma. How you doing
Captain
today, bro?
Phasma, yeah, Boba Fett of the internet. I am doing, I guess, okay. Let's keep it at
So Zaz is just doing okay, everybody. So don't even panic. We'll go
Hey,
ahead
at
and go with
least you
our
got
lady.
some more words this time.
So we'll go ahead and go with our lady gamer here, Mrs. She-Wolf. How you doing today, love?
I'm doing pretty good. Hey guys, what's up? I hope you guys are ready to talk games.
For sure, for sure. And my right-hand man, no introduction here, GKB. What's up?
What's up, everybody? GKB here, ready to talk about this gaming.
All right, and then I got a guest on here, my boy H2O Predator. Go ahead and give yourself a shout out, brother.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? I just got off work, so I'm still kind of tired. But I'm ready to talk about some games today.
All right, for sure, for sure. All right, well, I do have another guest coming. Hopefully he shows up. I will not reveal who it is as of yet. Hopefully he's I think he may be stuck at work. And shout out to Asthmatic too. If you listen to Matt, hope you're watching the show, brother, and you have a good day. So let's go ahead and jump right into the topic. So before I start though, one more thing I want to say is that appreciate everybody coming out. I want to just make sure I clarify that. Appreciate everybody coming to all of our channels, subscribing, following us. You guys have been awesome showing love to us here on the Shop Podcast. Been awesome to GKB, Matt, Zaz, Predator, Desert She-Wolf. Appreciate you guys' love and support. So let's go ahead and get started. So retro gaming. What we want to do is talk about retro gaming today. And first thing I want to ask around the panel is, where did you start? Like, when did you fall in love with gaming? For some of us, it was maybe our parents brought home a system, or one of our friends had a system, and we just happened to play it or see a commercial on TV. So I'm gonna go ahead and around the panel and ask them, where'd you get your influence from? What started you in gaming? So let me go ahead and start with Zaz on this one.
It was actually, and I remember it quite fondly. I mean, I am probably one of the younger ones in the group here. Nobody had really gamed in my family whatsoever, and we stopped into a Best Buy one day, and they had a PS1 display within like the first couple months that it came out with the original Crash Bandicoot on it. And we sat there and played it for some odd 45 minutes and walked home with a console later that night. It was awesome.
That's awesome, dude.
Nice. I used to love that too. Running in where they had the display set up, going in the stores and being able to play the games and stand there while everybody else was shopping and shit. So I used to do that all the time with my mom. So great. She-Wolf, how about yourself? She there?
She-Wolf?
Mike muted.
Looks like she dropped
She just
out.
dropped out.
Oh, okay. Some technical difficulties. All right, GKB, it's on you, brother. How'd you get your start, man?
Oh man, the earliest memory of playing video games, man, was back, man, probably when I was like 4 or 5. My uncles and my dad, they brought home this. I don't know if people know what this is, but the Intellivision. And the controllers were like little. They look like telephones, right, with like a little paddle on it. So yeah, that's like my earliest memory of playing video games. But when I really fell in love with video games and continued playing after that was the NES days, man. Playing with my aunts, uncles, my brother, all kinds of stuff, man. So.
Nice. For sure. So I remember what you're talking about. That fucking old had the phone cord at the bottom of the controller, the little twirly one.
Yeah.
So I know what you're talking about. So Predator, go ahead, brother.
Oh man, I don't know how old I was. I was probably about maybe 4 or 5 or something like that. But my cousin had borrowed a Atari 2600 and brought it home, and we played that little tank game that you just shoot, you move around real slow and you pop a bullet and it
Yeah.
bounces around the room and stuff like that. And I started off with that, and then I took a break for a little while. And I've always been fascinated with going into arcades and stuff like that when I was younger. But as far as console gaming, I want to say it was probably the NES as well. Even though I had a Sega Master System instead, but I loved me some Mario when it first came out.
All right, for sure, for sure. Big Mario fan here myself too. I love Zelda on the NES also too. That damn gold was the gold cartridge. Was that was NES or was that Super Nintendo? I believe it was both had a gold cartridge, right?
Hmm.
Yeah, they both had a gold cartridge for Zelda too. I remember it was highly, highly coveted back then too. So love the NES myself. For me personally, like I said, I had a ColecoVision. My mother bought us not the original Nintendo, then a Super Nintendo. Then I switched over to Sega. Only reason I switched over to Sega is because for whatever reason they didn't like for like Mortal Kombat and stuff. You actually saw the blood. For whatever reason, Nintendo didn't want that on their system, so they made it like green or whatever the case may be. So when you was playing Mortal Kombat, the fatalities, it was like green blood or whatever. So the Sega version had that. So begged mom to give me a Sega. So loved it. That's probably my favorite all-time console is the Sega Genesis. So love Sega so much to this day. I wish they'd come back with another console, but that's a whole nother topic. So all right, let's go ahead and move on. So we talked about our favorite actual consoles. So what are some of the games we actually played on these consoles? Like, what are some of the fondest memories of the games you guys played, or favorite game from those consoles? We're gonna go ahead and start with Predator.
Let me see. From the NES, I think I remember playing Ninja Gaiden, the original
Oh
Ninja
shit,
Gaiden,
yeah.
and I never finished that game. I mean, I have a long laundry list of games I've never finished, but I remember that game specifically because I always got to the last level and I died every single time. I just gave up playing it. But I was like, fuck it. There was another game. I don't know if it was on Nintendo or Sega that I didn't finish, and it's called Wrath of the Black Manta, I believe. I had to look it up, but man, that game pissed me
Mhm.
off. On the Sega side, man, I want to say it was, and I always forget the name of this game. One of their popular games with the helicopter. Um, it'll come to me later on, but I never finished that game. I
Mhm.
never finished Afterburner. Those kind of games. I mean, I play those games religiously, but I always get to a certain point, and it would just piss me off, and I end up just like tossing the controller around. And another flying game I could never finish was Top Gun. I could never land a damn plane on the aircraft carrier. So, I just like, let's do that. It's one of those games you just get pissed off at. You can't figure it out, and you just toss it around. So
Yeah. And this is back when there was no like save points or
yes.
anything like that in the game. So you died. It was a wrap. It was a wrap. You spent the last hour trying to get to that portion of the game, and you die and start off from the beginning. So
Oh, that
loved it,
game
loved
was
it, loved it.
Thunderblade.
All right,
That's the
so
one I was thinking of. Thunderblade.
oh, okay. All right, for sure, for sure. All right, GKB, what about you, brother?
Oh man, some of my the game I remember from the Intellivision is Moon Patrol. My favorite on the NES, probably my all-time favorite game is Super Mario Brothers 3. Absolutely loved that. I thought that was like the best Mario game ever. Ninja Gaiden was fantastic, but another like racer game that I really enjoyed was RC Pro-Am, man, and
Oh yeah.
I love that they brought that
Yeah.
back with
Oh,
rare replay and
yeah.
stuff. Oh,
Yeah.
me and my
RC
son
Pro.
play it now.
Oh, nice. Love it, love it. Yeah.
Yeah, so those are some of my favorites.
Okay. All right, cool. Zaz, what about you, brother?
Oh man, what wasn't I playing back then? I mean, obviously Crash Bandicoot, Spyro the Dragon, I loved. Cool Borders, Jet Moto was a great one, and I was even telling GKB this since I was kind of young at the time. I actually used to sneak my demo disc in when I wasn't being watched and play like Bloody Roar 2 because it was a little violent
I
for like my
love the Bloody
6-year-olds.
Roar
Like,
game.
right? Where's that
Love
remake at? Like, that game was
Yeah.
amazing, yeah. And where's demo discs? Miss those too.
Oh.
I used to go. Hey, look, low key. I used to go to the supermarket and tear the plastic off because there
The
were
magazines or whatever.
magazines that had the demo disc. I
Yeah,
take the
dude.
plastic, it and take the demo. I know that's bad, people. I don't do that anymore. But I used to do that when I was a kid, though, man.
I don't think there's a gamer out there that hasn't done that, bro.
Yeah. I really felt like I was the only one for a minute. Like, oh, somebody else help me. Somebody else said they did it. So yeah, for sure, though. For sure. Okay. Yeah. Those are the good times, man. Golly, I remember doing that. All right, She-Wolf. Since you dropped out, see that you're back, love. Favorite retro console, She-Wolf, and your favorite game from one of the older consoles. I can't hear her. If she's talking, Paul, I can't hear her. Nope. So she may not have her mic plugged. We'll get back to She-Wolf, everybody. All right, so she'll show up at some point during the show. Okay, so yeah, my fondest memory, NES was Duck Hunt. Played the crap out of Duck Hunt. I used to have the turbo controller, Zaz. I don't know if you guys are Predator. You remember that big ass arcade turbo controller?
Yeah, the square one with the buttons.
Big square one with the buttons. Yeah, you can. I used to play. Anybody remember Skate or Die?
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Oh,
I used to play the crap out of that game with I used to kind of cheat though. I used to give my brother the regular controller, and I played with the turbo, and had my turbo turned on, doing all kind of cool tricks and stuff. I never did beat that game either, so I'm kind of salty about that. I never did finish it. The Olympic game for NES was always cool. Sitting there doing the 100-mile dash, I had to mash both buttons as fast as humanly possible.
Did you guys have the mat pad, like where you could just stand on it and jump on
the
that?
mat? I did not have the mat pad.
I had that, man. That was like insane, dude.
Yeah, I never did get a chance to get that thing, though. Yeah, I never did. Oh, okay.
I wish I still had that.
Yeah, no. All right. And then when I moved on to Sega, that was I played Ultra Beast was like my favorite Sega game. Yeah. What else on Sega? Oh, there were so many. All of the Sonics.
Remember California games?
Oh
yeah, dude.
Yeah. I remember that too. So I had Sega's my favorite all-time console. So there's a lot of Sega games that I've played so many. I had so many I can't even think of all the ones that I played. So there was a lot of Mortal Kombat, those games. Played all of those. So yeah, I had a great childhood with Sega. All right, so let's go ahead and move on. So we're gonna move on to a little bit later, to like the 64, around that era too. What are some of your fondest memories? Like I know for me, it was staying up like playing like Bond, or 007, split screen like all night on the 64. Literally like we used to bet each other money, like $1 or $2 every game, and we'd all sit and play on this little 25-inch TV. I don't know how we did it back then with 4 people playing, but I know that's some of my fondest memories playing from that era also too. But I want to go ahead and get you guys' opinions also too. So, what's you guys' opinion on that, Zaz? Like, what are some of your fondest memories just gaming, like friends and things?
I know it might be jumping a little bit forward generationally, but back on the PS2, I think I was like in middle school or something like that, roughly around there. And I remember 2 different things. I remember waking up extremely early every morning before school, earlier than I had to, and playing the Sly Cooper series. Because that's like, I'm pretty sure that'll still go down as one of my favorite series of all time because it still holds up. Or there was the time that I made myself, like I had to call out a sick from school the next day because I was playing Battlefront Online, and that was the first ever game, like back when you had to like plug in the actual Ethernet port, screw it into the back of your PS2 to get online game play. Like that's when I knew I was going to be like an addict forever on this crap.
Okay, cool. All right, cool. What about you, GKB?
Oh man, some of my fondest memories is probably I have a couple from like Super NES, like playing with my brother, just like the Contra games, a lot of the Mario games, man, just sitting up all night playing. As far as like multiplayer, probably 007 was a good one. I only played a couple of friends with that, but when we really got into like the multiplayer stuff, it's probably on the OG Xbox when Halo came out. I remember us having like 4 Xboxes in the same house, like all our friends in like different rooms.
System link.
Yeah, had the system link going, man, and it just played all night long until we passed out drooling on the controllers, man. So that was some good times, man.
We used to have like a little clique. Me and 3 other friends that played Halo would literally. I had one friend who had a car. This is early high school, so none of us had a car except one friend. And so we used to take his car. We pack up our Xboxes. I take my TV. Another guy would take his TV. We used to literally like drive around looking for people to play, and like find people at school, like different high schools and stuff. Friends from different high schools, and we used to bet them. Obviously, we used to bet on everything. Bet them. We'd go to their house and like set up a little tournament, do the system link, order pizza. So we were all into that Halo, man. Halo, I think, was a game changer for a lot of people when it comes to like social gaming and stuff. But let's go ahead and what about you, Predator? Fondest memory?
I remember when Ninja Turtles came out, and I think it was one of the first 4-player split screen games that you could play, like in the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
Typically, it was like 2-player. You played Double Dragon with 2 players, stuff like that. But like for some reason, I just remember Ninja Turtles, and everyone had their own character. All my friends came over. We all played Ninja Turtles together. And on split screen, a little tiny ass fucking like 19-inch TV screen,
Little tube TVs and stuff.
Yeah, man. And we played the shit out of that game. And I thought the original question was about Nintendo 64. Did I mishear that?
Oh, it just that era. It don't have to be specific to 64. It's just
just the 64 era in general. Like I remember doing split screen with Star Fox. I remember playing Mario 64 a lot. I put a lot of time into that game. That's about it, man. Most of those games, like I miss those. Even though like we complain about it now, because I mean maybe because we're older, but like back then you used to have friends that would come over. They'd be over there for hours, sitting in like locked in the bedroom. Like you'd be up there like and again like you talk about the game stage, you didn't have this back then, so you had to start
like
a game.
Chinese sweatshop.
Everyone smells like fucking armpit and shit in the bedroom. We go open the door and shit, but like my friends would come over with like house. They come over like at 10 o'clock in the morning. They'd be over there like eat lunch. It'd be dinner time. My mom like, yo, are your friends leaving? Like, y'all gotta go. You pause the game, because you couldn't turn it off.
Yeah. Wow. Holy shit. Yeah, man. That's actually really funny, man. All right. Cool. Is she woke back yet?
She's still working on it.
Okay, still working on it, everybody. Don't forget, everybody, rate, comment, and subscribe. Put all your questions in the chat. We're still going to go ahead and do the questions. We're going to take those at the end of the show and answer a few questions that you guys. It don't have to be about old games or anything. Just whatever questions that you guys have, go ahead and put them in the chat. So now, I want to ask a really, really, really specific question to the panel here. So do you have a very, very, what is your, like, worst experience you've had, like back when you were a kid? Like, was there a level you couldn't beat, a game you couldn't beat, or something that you were never able to get or never able to pass, like those type of situations? I want to ask you guys about that. Let's go ahead and start with GKB, if you had one of those memories.
Oh man, trying to go back into my vault here and remember and stuff, man.
Well, it doesn't have to be like super far back, but just any memory that you could think of.
Oh man, I the one that keeps like popping into my head is like the Ninja Gaiden Black, man. Used to drive me
my god
bonkers playing that game.
On the original Xbox, on the OG Xbox?
Yeah, man. I remember just pulling my hair out playing that game. That's the only, like, it's not really a worst experience, it's just a game, but I mean, that one just keeps popping in my head as like, oh my god, I just want to like break my Xbox and TV and everything else playing that game.
Because they made the original one. Yep. I beat the crap out of that one a few times. Then they made Black, which was, I don't remember, was different. I know it was more difficult. I know it had another difficulty setting that the original one didn't have. I think there was some extra stuff you got too, but it was pretty much the same game. Just a lot fucking harder for whatever reason. Go ahead.
Bondix 75 in there just reminded me of something too. Oh no, Rock and Roller, sorry. Like losing your game saves on the PS2. I don't know how many times I've accidentally deleted like my saves and just being like, "What did I just do?" That's another one.
Yeah, that's rage-inducing, man. You ready to break the system? There's nothing you can do. Like, there's absolutely
Yeah, it's
nothing.
like
There's no way
it's
to
gone.
recover. There's no cloud saves, no none of that shit. So it's a wrap once you delete it. So
Man,
okay,
kids these days
Zaz,
gaming, man. They got it all.
yeah, but they
great
don't
stuff.
even know, man. They don't even know, man. I have no idea. Zaz, what you got, brother?
Because I was actually going to say the memory card thing. My memory card was constantly getting corrupted, but no, I remember a time back in the PS2 days, if anybody remembers the game Stuntman.
Nah, I didn't play that.
You didn't play that one? Ah, crap, man. That game was hard as can be, and it was all just taking place from the seat of a stunt driver, and you had to do everything perfect, or you'd fail. And it was a nightmare. Really tough game.
Yeah, that game was pretty difficult. Yeah, you're right. You're right. Okay. All right. What about you, Predator?
I've still yet to land that aircraft on the aircraft carrier in Top Gun, so I'm gonna leave that one there. Ori actually recently, it's kind of pissed me off, even though I've beat the game, but God, I think I died like 150 times in that game just trying to finish it.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I do remember, like, it really wasn't. You ever got that disc on your NES? Like, it didn't matter how many times you blew on that motherfucker, and how many times you tried to put the lip in that motherfucker, it just would never work.
It would not
I get
work.
so pissed
You
off
didn't do
at
the
it.
alcohol? You know?
Yeah, every technique, like, you know.
Well, I was wondering.
You found that right spot. You had to move the cartridges.
Yeah. Next thing you know, you got like shit wedged in there, you know, to keep it in.
Oh my god.
Oh my goodness.
It's so funny we all have the same
up.
experiences.
Yeah, everybody had it. Like, you fold that piece of paper up and stick it in there.
Or take this. What I used to do was take like a oh my goodness, what were they? I used to take my mom's like CD, the disc for like her CDs, and I'd like stack two of them and I'd slide them in there to hold my like Nintendo game down or whatever. Yeah. Jesus Christ, man, this brings back so many memories. For me, a memory would be so many tough ones. Zelda Ocarina of Time. I had a lot of fond memories in that game. Just like being confused as hell, like, cause you know how you guys probably remember some things you could do as an adult and some things you can do as a kid. So you had to like go back and forth between the two with the little ocarina.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and they used to like confuse the crap. I'd get stuck. I'd get frustrated. I was like, oh my goodness. What's another game that was just incredibly difficult?
Double Dragon.
Oh, Double Dragon was one. Ninja Turtles. Ninja Turtles was really difficult on the NES also too. I don't think you had any save points in that game either. If I remember correctly, that was like the most difficult thing about it was you couldn't save.
Oh man.
Yeah, and there's a few other games too, but those are the ones that actually stick out in my head. Okay.
I remember
Alright,
Double
cool.
Dragon.
So,
Those little rock creatures would come out, and you have those wave levels where like there was nothing you could do but like just keep jumping and kicking.
Yeah.
Down.
And,
It
was
come on, when is the end of this shit? And you finally get to the end and get killed by one punch. God, that game pissed me off. Now I'm thinking about it. I'm so upset with that game.
And you got to remember too, those games you had to like evade. It was no like you just had to like be incredibly elusive because you get hit once and you would die. Like that was it.
Yeah.
You know. So, yeah, like Contra was the same way. You get hit once and you dead. So you had to like just maneuver and I don't know how the hell. Yeah, well, if you hit the Contra with the ultimate code, what was it?
Up, down, left, right, A stars.
That's sad. That's like the most well-known like cheat code.
That's a code in Ori too, I believe.
Oh, it is.
Yeah, I think it is.
Oh, I didn't know that. Nice. Okay, so I got another question for you guys. I want to ask you guys too in the chat, in the live chat. You guys answer this for me too. So, if there was one game that they could revive from like an older franchise, just one game that they could revive, what would it be? Doesn't matter what system it was on. Just one game. You got one game that you could go to and say, "Hey, okay, you there, She-Wolf?"
Yes, finally.
Okay.
Oh my god. The joys of having a 5-year-old laptop that just doesn't want to run Windows 10 properly.
Uh-oh. All right. So one game that you guys could have, if you guys had a chance to go to one company and say, hey, look, you guys can make this game, and they'll say, we'll make it for you. What would it be? So it has to be an OG game, though. So Zaz, we'll start with you, brother.
You know what? I honestly think I'm going to stick with the original thing. I'm going to say revive Bloody Roar. I want them to redo that game really bad. Other than that, honestly, that would be the one I think that I remember the most. That or Jet Moto. Sorry, Jet Moto would be another one. Those two.
Nice.
Just give me one.
That's awesome.
Nice. Okay. What about you, GKB?
Oh man, I'm gonna go back to the OG Xbox and Metal Arms Glitch in the System. I loved that game when it came out. Just the banter back and forth with Glitch and the characters, the voice acting was so great. The levels were kind of whatever, but I just thought that game, remaking that game would just be fantastic.
Okay. All right. Cool. All right. So Eddie. Shout out to Eddie Jr. in the chat. You were talking about Streets of Rage. He said, "Remember the turkey? Like bad guys drop random amounts of food and shit. Like, why does this bad guy have a full cooked turkey on him when I kill him?" Yeah. But anyway, what about you, Predator? Is there a game that you want to possibly remake? If you have one game that they can remake.
I actually got two. My first is Altered Beast. I would love to see that come back.
So good.
So good. And my second is Alex Kidd on the Sega Master System. Like that whole series. I only played a little bit of it, but I never got a chance to finish it. You know, and I would love to be able to tackle that again.
Nice. Okay. Cool. All right. She-Wolf, you there?
Yeah, I'm here. At least I hope I'm working this time.
Okay. So, yeah, you're good. I can hear you. So one retro game, She-Wolf, if you had a choice to go to any studio and say, "Hey, you guys make this game for me," what would it be?
I'd go with like the original Xbox. I want Blinks, the Time Sweeper. It was such a cute game.
That's cool.
Nice. That's actually a really, really good choice.
I love the cat. He was like, I don't know. It's just me and cute little animals. You should have heard me last night. There was like this little thing I could not stop laughing, and all it was doing was like shaking its feet.
All right, for sure. Okay, so you said Blinks, correct?
Yes.
All right, Blinks. That's actually a really good choice. For me, oh man, there's so many different games. Like you said in the chat, Streets of Rage would be a good one. That they could reboot. What else? Oh my goodness, there was this quirky game I used to play, and you guys may laugh at me. I don't remember the name of it, but it was like you were kids and you were in like a garden and there were like zombies and stuff, and you would have to like, it was just like a 2-player game. I don't remember what the game was called, but it was like a zombie game. Like you were in like a garden and you have to like protect yourself from like these waves. I don't know, it was some weird little trippy game I used to play. That game would be cool. I don't remember the name of it. I may have to do some research.
What system?
What system was that on? God, was it Sega? I want to say Sega. I want to say either Sega or Xbox, the original Xbox.
Is that what it is? Bondex said Zaxxon?
No, I don't think it's that. No, I remember. If I heard the name, I remember it. But something with zombies and you were like 2 kids. I don't remember the name of it, but it was a really, really fun. All right, all right, cool. So it wasn't that. You know what? It may have actually been that game. Zombies. That sounds very familiar. It rings a bell.
It could have been Hall said that in chat. That's why.
Oh, okay. I see. One Hall. Yeah, it could have been Zombies Ate My Neighbors. I think that was a really fun game. Okay. All right. Cool, everybody. So, all right, let's go ahead and move on to this next topic. So, since we're still on the whole retro thing, I want to ask you guys about. Now we know certain systems that kind of fell to the wayside, like Dreamcast. Sega's not making any games anymore, or they're still making games, but they're not making any consoles anymore, hardware. So this is kind of specifically like a Dreamcast question. Did all of you guys have a Dreamcast, first of all?
Growing up, I didn't have one, but now that I'm older, I actually have a couple of them. Yes.
Okay, so all of us have at least played the Dreamcast, correct?
No.
Yeah.
You haven't played the Dreamcast, Az?
I played it very few and far between at my cousin's house. I was a little bit young on that one.
I had one briefly. I think
Okay.
I ended up rid of it.
Okay, cool. Well, this will be kind of a loose question, and so from what you guys can remember about this Dreamcast, in my opinion, it's actually one of the greatest consoles. It didn't really get its, Sega kind of abandoned it hella quick because it was getting its teeth kicked in by Sony, but they left the whole market after that. And they marketed the console wrong, but it had some very groundbreaking features, groundbreaking games. So, wanted to ask you guys, like, what was your favorite game from that system? For that particular system, since it's, I know, one of my favorite systems. So we'll go ahead and start with you, Predator, since you actually played a little bit of it.
I think what was that fighting game that came out with it?
Power
Virtual
Stone?
Fighter?
Oh,
Was it Virtual Fighter?
I think the King Virtual Fighter. Well, Virtual Fighter was on Sega and all that too.
I
It
think
was on like
Dreamcast too,
Genesis.
but I also remember playing Phantasy Star on there for a little bit.
Oh, nice.
Like I didn't have that game. I didn't have that system very long. I think I had it for like maybe 3 weeks, and I returned it, because I was deploying. So I knew I wasn't gonna get a chance to play it. But I think I remember Phantasy Star being on there, and I could have swore like a Virtual Fighter type game was on there that I had.
It was probably Virtual Fighter. It was more than likely Virtual Fighter.
And I had a football game on there as well. But that's it.
Okay. All right.
I won't
Cool.
say it was NFL Fever. I think that was on the
Yeah, I think that was on Dreamcast. Okay. All right. Cool. What about you, GKB?
Oh man, for the Dreamcast, like I said, I was in the PS2 camp back then. I was really against like the whole Sega Dreamcast. I was on the PS2 side, but now that I've actually had a couple, man, I think it's a really underrated console. I think it's fantastic. They had some great games on there. Virtua Tennis comes to mind. What else came to mind? Power Stone 2.
Oh my God.
If anybody hasn't played that, that's like a 3D version of Smash Brothers.
Oh my God, it's so good. Oh, sorry, I just had to change.
No, that's cool, man. No worries.
Yeah, man, Power Stone shit.
I'm also big into like zombie games and stuff, and they had Resident Evil Code Veronica. I absolutely love that game on the Dreamcast. Oh man, I think that's all I can
Crazy
remember.
Taxi was fun too.
Oh yeah, Crazy Taxi was on there. They had a lot of RPGs and those plain shooter type games. So I mean, they had a lot of good stuff on there, man.
Yeah. So they did. Dreamcast was definitely ahead of its time.
Absolutely.
Yeah, a lot of great games. Power Stone would have to be my favorite one. I played the shit out of that game.
Mm-hmm.
I so wish they would come out. Sega really needs to. I think it's Capcom actually owns that game. Capcom needs to really take a look at their library because they got some great games they're holding on to. But that's a whole nother podcast.
Yeah, for sure.
But definitely Power Stone would probably be my number one because I just had the game was so innovative. At the time it was like graphically beautiful. It was super fun. Like you said, it was like a Smash Bros. Type. It was really 3D Smash Bros. But in my opinion, it was actually better than Smash Bros. Like, I'm not even gonna lie. Like I had a lot more fun with that game in particular. Anybody else have any fond memories of the Dreamcast? You, Wolf, at all, or Zaz?
Actually, Sonic Adventures. I loved Sonic games.
Yeah.
Yeah, Sonic.
I also remember playing Mortal Kombat on the Dreamcast.
Which one was it?
I'd have to look that up, but I know there was a Mortal Kombat. Give me 2 seconds. I'll find exactly which one it was.
No problem. Zaz, you need to go buy one now if you have not gotten a chance to play this.
Dude, I remember the one though, the original AAA, Echo the Dolphin. I did play that.
Oh my God.
Oh, it was Mortal Kombat Gold. Is
Mortal
what
Kombat
one
Gold.
it was. Yeah.
I don't know why I don't.
Yeah, it was on Dreamcast.
Yeah,
I remember
I'm
playing that because
so-
it was like one of the first places I ever saw Mortal Kombat.
Nice.
Okay. Yeah, he said Soul Calibur too, and that was another good one.
Yeah, Soul Calibur.
Didn't it also have like Shamu or whatever the heck that freaking?
Shenmue.
Yeah, that's it.
Shenmue,
Didn't
yes.
it have that on it?
Yep.
Shenmue. You know the funny thing about Shenmue? I thought the game was a piece of shit when I first saw it. My best friend had it, and it came in like this big double disc case, and I'm like, what is this crap? Like, is this a book? Are you like listening to something? And he's like, no, it's a game. I'm like, oh, okay. And it was a very open world. It was a big world. open world. You walk around, you interact with everybody. If anybody in the chat hasn't played Shenmue on Dreamcast, probably should play it because you'll see a lot of influence from that type of game till today, as far as these open world games are made. You can literally interact with everything and everybody into the game, like in the game. You do everything. So it's pretty much like The Sims before The Sims or something. Like you can literally just walk around and do daily chores and talk to people and pet dogs and roll dice and all kind of crazy stuff. So it was a really, really good game. Yeah, Echo was on a Sega CD also too. By the way, Zasmine.
That game.
That piece of crap. Yeah. So let's this kind of reminds me too. There are some other obscure systems that a lot of viewers may not know about. Some of our subs. Can we just kind of start naming them off, because there was a lot of obscure in between systems like what was it, GKB? You had like the 32X on Sega.
Oh yeah,
it wasn't really a new system.
Sega Saturn. Yeah, it was like a
Sega Saturn.
I remember it had like this one system, and it had like this. The game looked like a credit card. I only ever had one.
TurboGrafx 16, yeah.
TurboGrafx 16.
Yeah, I only ever had one game for that thing.
Yeah, it was probably, was it Bonk's Adventure, the little caveman kid? The little, was it that?
I'm not sure.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just know it looked like a little credit card. It was that thin. It was lit like, and I only ever had one game for it.
Yeah, the 3DO. I remember that too.
3DO, too damn expensive. Neo Geo, $500 game.
Yeah, that's crazy.
No, Neo Geo was like $700. The console.
Yeah, they were out there, man.
Were like
Jaguar.
$100 a piece.
Oh yeah, the
Jaguar was the same thing. That had like, the controller had like 80 buttons on it.
Yeah.
Remember that Jaguar controller?
I had a Sega Game Gear. I was like the only person that had one.
Oh, yeah.
Oh my God, Game Gear.
I've been looking for another Game Gear. I haven't found one yet.
That thing was amazing.
Bro. It was amazing.
It was a battery
took
killer,
like
man.
12 batteries though.
Yeah.
Yeah, that screen, dude, would eat them up, man.
Yeah, man. If you guys don't remember the stuff we're talking about, man, this is some of the stuff we grew up with. I know some of our listeners may be a little bit younger, but there was a lot of shit going on back then.
The original Game Boy.
The original game.
I love the
black
original
screen,
Game
green
Boy.
screen.
Yeah. You had the. Oh, don't get me started with the Virtual Boy.
Oh yeah.
Oh my God. That headache-inducing machine. That thing would put you in a damn like coma or something, looking at that damn thing too long. You want to talk about like VR before VR got big? Like that was Nintendo's version of virtual reality.
Yeah.
I swear, people probably got like tumors, brain tumors from this.
For sure. Epilepsy and everything else.
Yeah, just the red and they use red. Like, why would you use a bright red as like your color? Like red and black. Like this does not work, man. Like crazy trying to play like the little tennis game on that thing, man. Yeah, so that was cool. All right, people. So let's go ahead and move on from that topic. Since we're still talking about retro gaming, so I want to kind of jump a little bit. Did anybody here have a moment where you felt like, oh, this is really like next generation stuff? Like, I know we were used to playing on the NES, Nintendo. Like, what was your first, holy shit, this is some next level, next generation type stuff? Let's go ahead and start with GKB on this.
Man, almost. I mean, I'm one of those guys. Like almost every generation, like surprised me in what they can do. But I played the NES for like a really long time, and then the Super NES came out, and me and my brother got it for Christmas. And when we put like Contra in there, and we saw those graphics, we were like, "Oh my God, I can't believe this is like Pixar movie quality stuff," back then. And just like almost every generation after that, it's always got like one of those games to me. Like even on the 360, it was like Halo 4. I was just like, "Oh my God, wow, that's amazing! How can they do this on this system?" I don't know. I think every generation to me has like that one game that's just like, oh my God, I can't believe they did that. So, but yeah, for me, the Nintendo to Super NES was kind of crazy for me.
Yeah, that was a big jump. You're right. Okay. Zaz, what about you, brother?
I mean, again, I haven't been swapping between too many, so I was a little bit younger at the time, but it was getting to play the original Jak and Daxter whenever it premiered on the PS2. Getting to jump between the two. I mean, it was for the time, of course, a lot better graphics, but now, of course, holding them up, I mean, hard to compare but to today's crap, but, it was at the time, too, it's amazing to look at what we thought was so great back then too. Now, like you're talking about Contra and everything, seeing what we got today.
Yeah, definitely. Okay, what about you, She Wolf?
Truthfully, when I was younger, I wasn't actually that into video games. So pretty much it was mainly my brothers who had like the major consoles and stuff like that, and I'd have to honestly say it was just pretty much any like what GKB said. As soon as the next one came out, it was pretty much like wow. Though watching him play like Final Fantasy and stuff like that on PlayStation and all that, I guess kind of, yes, we did have PlayStation back then, people, not Xbox. That is my brother. He wasn't big. Yeah, but I gotta admit, I loved Kingdom Hearts though, so.
Good game.
But yeah, so it's pretty much, I guess, like once PlayStation and Xbox and stuff started coming, I started noticing a lot more.
Uh-huh.
So, but particular game, I don't know.
Okay. All right. What about you, Predator?
I remember when I had my Genesis and Strider came out. I was just like, I would just freeze the screen and just look at the graphics in that game, like, wow, this is amazing. Yeah, of course, you know, like I think GKB said this a while ago. Every generation has that game. You know, for me back then, it was Strider.
I remember Strider, man.
I remember playing that level with the first level of the game. It had a little snake that goes around, and you have to like you're just hitting your plasma sword at it, and you're jumping on and off of it, and clinging on this shit. And I was like, wow. I played that game like for days, you know, like at a time. You know, even if it was really simple, you know, it was really easy. But I would play it, beat it, wake up and play it again and beat it the next day. You know, that game's always looked amazing to me when it first came out on Genesis.
Nice. All right, cool. For me, there's a few different moments. One was playing Mario 64, or was it Mario 64? Yeah, when Mario was in 3D.
Oh yeah.
That was like the game was so beautiful. It was so like vibrant and colorful. The whole world, you know, and then going through the different worlds, and you know, the gameplay was just awesome. I just loved it. It was that. Obviously, the next moment for me would probably be when I first got my 360, playing Halo 2 online for the first time.
Oh yeah.
In like an online match, was just like, holy crap! Like I didn't talk to anybody because I didn't have a headset, but I was like, Jesus Christ, this is crazy. Like it was really eye-opening. And like I didn't have to call friends like, hey, you guys want to play Halo, and like gather everybody up and try and get everybody online, you know, whatever. Try and get everybody at the house to play, or we meet at somebody's house. Just knowing that, like, you know, I didn't have to do that anymore. Like I could just find random people to play with, and you know, I could play at my house, you know, comfortable. That was awesome. Halo also too was the first Halo on OG Xbox was like life-changing almost. Like from the campaign to the multiplayer was just because it was unexpected. I had went over to my buddy's house. I don't know if you guys remember, but Halo used to come with the Xbox. Used to come with the game, but not anymore. Obviously, after a while they kind of stopped it. But it used to come with the game. But playing Halo, and I went over to my buddy's house like, hey, what's this game? He was like, it's called Halo. I'm like, what the hell is this? Like, what is it about? He's like, well, want to watch me playing? And I'm watching him, and literally after the first 5 minutes, I'm like, dude, can I play? Like, can I please play? You know, so it was definitely a game changer for me. All right, great. All right, cool. So let's go ahead and start taking some questions here from the chat. We got the live chat going. Everybody, go ahead and throw your questions in the live chat so that we can go ahead and get those answered. You see anything in there, GKB? Any good questions?
Let's see.
I don't know
While
why
you guys are
chat.
looking, man, let me make this little point here too. That a lot of people like, especially like the younger kids who just got in the game, like in the PS2 era. You know, some of these games, like you remember, like there was a phase where every game was a side scroller. It was like an over the top, you know. You know, and one of the biggest innovations in gaming probably came when we made games in 3 dimensions.
Yeah.
We had Mario in 3D. When we had Zelda, it wasn't just like an over the top, like, you know, a top down view of Zelda. He was 3D, you know.
Yeah.
We grew up on that. Like these guys, you know, younger than us. I mean, I don't know how old everybody else is in the panel, but you know, when I first started gaming, that's all you had. It was either side scroller or top down, or if it was a shooter, it was with the light gun, and it was like a rail
Yeah.
shooter,
Yep.
We've come leaps and bounds in the past several decades, I guess a couple of decades it's been, and what gaming is now. And the original console war wasn't Microsoft and Sony, it was Sega and Nintendo.
For sure.
Yeah.
I remember all the marketing campaigns. I think Sega was more like, aggressive with it than Nintendo
They
was.
were.
Oh yeah.
You would see them, but like they would actually go after Nintendo, like we
They
do what you
would.
don't, that kind
Yeah.
of deal.
Mm-hmm.
We didn't have media, feeding into console wars and stuff like that. Like people just picked a console just based off of what everybody else had and what everybody else can do. So, that's when gaming was fun. The shit that
Mm-hmm.
we have nowadays is kind of like the crap that goes on behind the scenes kind of deters, gamers from just being gamers because they think they have to pick a console, they have to pick a favorite, and you really don't have to. This game, if you
Yeah.
enjoy a system, enjoy it. You don't have to bash someone else for their choice of system. Just
Right.
have fun with what you're spending your
Good
money
point.
on.
And it's okay to have a preferred side. It's not a big deal, man. Just don't take it to that next step. Right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
like some people are getting crazy here in the media with what I see and how they talk to people. Like like that shit needs to kind of like stop. Like
For sure.
Yeah.
calling out people's moms and
Yeah.
kids, and let's chill out with that shit, man. Even I mean,
Yeah.
this chat has been actually very calm today, but like
Chat's been awesome.
Oh,
I-
you know what the funny thing is? Shout out to all my subscribers because every time they come and show love, they don't usually, there are a few bad, apples here and there that show up and want to give everybody grief, but typically everybody in here is civil and cool. So shout out to the chat, everybody in here. You guys always keep it clean. We have a good time, and we just talk games. So I appreciate that. Let's see what we got in here. You see anything, Paul?
I haven't seen any questions yet.
Yeah. So right now we're gonna take the three
there's
questions.
one
So
right there by
everybody.
Bond.
Okay, go ahead. Just
Uh,
go ahead and read it off.
What are you guys looking forward to in 2016 or 2017 that you think could possibly change things for the better, i.e., crackdown with cloud compute?
Mm.
Go ahead, somebody from the panel. You got an answer? Go ahead.
Yeah, I think cloud compute is probably where we're going to start heading. It's going to get to a point where, consoles are just going to get too expensive, and cloud computing might be able to save some of that price. I mean, everybody's next console, we want it to be like 4K, this, that, and the other, but you all got to realize that that's going to cost some money. I don't think we're going to get 4K next gen, but hey, who knows? I don't make the consoles, but I think cloud compute, like you can have like smaller GPUs and consoles, but use cloud computing to help rendering tasks and everything like that. You can offload a lot of that stuff. So I think going forward, man, that could be something to look at.
Definitely. I'll add to that also too. That's one of the things that I'm definitely looking forward to. As far as the next generation as it moves on, because that's something that can really benefit just games in general, like every game. Doesn't matter what kind of game you're making, being able to offload like computations to the cloud and stuff like that is gonna help developers. Gonna offer a little bit more wiggle room. People gonna start to see creative things done.
I think the issue with that
we'll see with Crackdown too.
Yeah, you bought it real bad right there.
Who I was?
Yeah.
He's hitting that retro sounding.
Yeah. Go ahead though. What you were saying, Predator?
Oh, with the cloud compute thing, I think the biggest issue with that is getting developers to use it. It seems like I mean, we saw it in Titanfall, but like, I mean, where else are we seeing it? And the problem is like Microsoft is like the big, the only one that's really using it right now, saying, hey, we can use the cloud for this and that and this and that, but like, you have to get other developers to actually use it, and it's like,
well,
go ahead.
Oh, well, it's gonna take. It's not necessarily like it's having the ability to use it, and you need the resources to use it also too. You need the people that know how to actually utilize the cloud. So, somebody like Sony is gonna have not necessarily a hard time, but they're gonna have to maybe go find people that know how to work with that kind of technology. So, Microsoft, that's what they do. They're a software company, so cloud things like that are right up their alley.
Microsoft also has said multiple times that any dev that wants to use it for either side, they're more than happy to. I mean, it is a business at the end of the day. I mean, they want people to use that technology, you know.
Yeah, I mean, well, am I the only one who's a little bit worried though, seeing the way this console generation went with it? Because my biggest thing is like they say that by 2019 they want these to just be little tiny boxes that access us the cloud and then compute all our games in there. But look at how long it took them to exclude last gen players from stuff, like with going back to PS3 and everything. Like if there's going to be bandwidth issues, I'm worried that they're not going to exclude people, which I guess is good in a moral sense, but I'm not in favor of it because again, like if you want to keep up, you do have to constantly upgrade your stuff eventually. And I was a big proponent of not them, like the developers not dumbing down our next gen games to be on the last gen. So I'm just worried that there's going to be this, unless by at least 2020 every like fiber optic line is going to be laid and we're all going to have like 200 megs down at the lowest. That's always a possibility. I don't know where that's going to go, but that's the only thing that kind of worries me about it in general.
Yeah, it's definitely something that's going to have to be. They're going to have to take it slow. It's almost like the VR situation that everybody. VR is a little bit more easier to understand than cloud computing because you can't physically see cloud computing work like you can. You know what I'm saying? So, but it's definitely somebody has to take the lead. You know what I'm saying? It's going to take somebody. It looks like Crackdown's going to do that. We'll see how it actually is being utilized. Honestly, the whole bandwidth thing, I remember reading, because I do follow CloudGen, the people that are actually doing it for Crackdown. They only said it takes like 4, was it like, I think it said,
wasn't a lot.
It wasn't very much bandwidth. It was like 4 down or something, like to actually even utilize the cloud computing. So it's not a lot of bandwidth. So I'm not necessarily worried about internet speed issues or anything like that. It's just going to be if somebody can use it creatively enough for like adoption for other devs to see it and be like, hey, we could actually utilize this and make our game better with this technology. So Microsoft, if they're offering it, you would think that every dev would at least try it, but it takes time and money to get used to that type of technology, especially if you've never used it in a game before or tried to apply it to a game.
You also have a lot of like devs that kind of they're looking at more how can they make money with less. At least in my opinion, like there's a lot of games that have come out that haven't given you your full money's worth, but then they still sell it and then put out DLCs and say, oh, well, they were DLCs, they're not actually part of the game, and then you have to pay for more. So, I don't know, I guess it depends if devs are actually going to put more effort into creating their games instead of just thinking about the money.
Yeah, I mean, I think like everyone, I think we are like creatures of habits, and I think devs are one of those too, where they get very used to building a game a certain way, and for them to adopt new technologies and new things, it takes them a little while because it's new stuff they have to learn, it's new stuff they have to develop for. So
yeah, Call of Duty.
So you're using those peer-to-peer servers, eh? Activision, huh? Okay. Anyway.
That'd be a good leeway into Eddie Junior's right there. I like his question. Yeah.
All right. Go ahead and read that off. If you see that.
Yeah. Do you think online-only games? Well, he meant multiplayer-only games are killing good stories in gaming. I don't think it's the multiplayer only. I think it's Call of Duty players, and we have a whole show for that. We'll link it in the description. There you go. No, it's definitely killing it, and that's half the problem. Is like. I know, how many of us here, like, because I always forget, are, like, story over multiplayer? Because I know I am, first and foremost, story over multiplayer. And I'll give it to anybody. Multiplayer's fun.
Yeah, we were just talking about this before we started, too. I'm more of a multiplayer guy. I know GKB was saying that also, too. I just like the interaction between a group of people sitting down playing a game. That's more so for me. But to answer the question, I went away, yes, to a degree it is, because you get this whole when these games like a Destiny, like a Division, or like online only, you know what I'm saying, or you can only play them in like a multiplayer type setting. Even if the story is like you can go through the story singular, you do always have that option to play through it with other people, and the whole game virtually works just based off multiplayer. So I think it's a trend. I think Call of Duty has definitely helped the trend by being like as big as it is. The fact that Activision decided that it was okay to only give the people on 360 and PS3 a multiplayer game and not a campaign at all, leads me to believe that this is definitely something that people are actually seriously looking at. So in a way, it is killing off stories because I think people are like a lot of kids nowadays. They see YouTube and they see these multiplayer games and the esports, and that's gotten bigger. Esports guys have become more popular. They have more influence, so it influences the kids, and that's what they want to do. They want to get multiplayer. A lot of kids. My son doesn't even play the campaign anymore, like on Call of Duty. He goes straight to the multiplayer. So in a way, yes, maybe somebody else has a more complicated answer.
Yeah.
But I think.
I'm a multiplayer guy too, but there's two sides to me on this topic. Like multiplayer to me means just like a COD type game. I also like co-op though. Like I like really good story games, but I also like to play with a friend in them. I don't really like to play games all that much just by myself. But I can definitely see, man. It's one of those things too, like going back, I don't want to give anybody like an out here or anything like that, but games are becoming so much money to develop, and I think a lot of that has to do with the devs themselves, like just having crazy amounts of people. I'd rather them take more time to develop the game, and not just focus on one part of the game. Ah, man, it's a tough question.
Yeah. I'm a multiplayer guy too, but every now and then I like to sit down with a game with a good story. Like I love Tomb Raider, but I also love, Rocket League, So,
Yeah, exactly.
there's times like the good thing about multiplayer games is like you can jump on a game real quick, play a couple of matches, get off, and you're good. They're good for like, you got 30 minutes to kill, but then you got a game that like, like The Witcher, where it's gonna be a long grind, and it's gonna be a long grind, and you can play that game for days and not seem like you're getting anywhere. Um,
Yeah.
I mean, if you look forward, like you see like it's starting to happen now. Like a lot of games now are starting to blend the multiplayer in with the single player.
Yeah,
Like
you get that hybrid. That's
yeah,
what I
there's
was
like a
going for.
story to it, like The Division, or like Titanfall. It was an online only game, but they kind of merged the story into it, which the story kind of sucked, but you get the gist of it. But you'll start seeing that more and more. I think Ghost Recon is Wildlands is kind of doing that too. They're taking the game, open world game, and merging their multiplayer in with the single player. So you'll start
Well,
seeing that more.
and I think that's more so of a trend, which you were talking about, to kind of piggyback off you, Predator. The whole merging, the hybrid game, where you take pieces of other games, like single player game, multiplayer games, co-op. You take all of that and you kind of merge it. Destiny, Division. You see it with Homefront. You see it with all these other games that are coming out, where you have this open world, but you're able to interact with other players, jump like seamlessly right into like a multiplayer game, but you're still in that like greater world, like you're still in the story.
They're becoming MMOs.
Yeah, the MMO, perfect example. Great point, She-Wolf. That's exactly what you would call a game like that. Is an MMO. So great point. All right, I think we got time for one more question here. I don't want to miss anybody. Anybody see a good question down there in the chat? We're gonna take one more here. So if you guys got a
game of all time one there, but that one could open up a whole can
no,
of.
that's actually a good one. Shout out to Chris Hall too. In here listening with us. Is it Chris Hale? Chris Hall. Anyway, yeah, personal. What's your personal GOAT game? We're gonna go ahead and start with Predator on this one. You get the ball first, brother.
Oh man, I'm thinking right now. My brain was trying to churn right there when I
I
saw
didn't
that.
give you much. I knew you were. I heard the wheels turning.
Oh, my greatest game all time. Wow.
Oh wow, man, that's
I mean, yeah, that's like a lot of games, man.
Yeah.
If
you had to,
I can tell everybody right now, it's The Division. It's not even out yet, and it's The Division.
Because you got to think like there's games that I play that I have memories with that I play like religiously for days. Like I played the original Ghost Recon on Xbox. I played that game like every day when I got off of work, But I think if I had to pick a game, just one game that actually I'd probably say Super Mario, maybe 3D. Oh, no, I'm sorry, not 3D, but the Nintendo
Mario
64.
64.
Yeah, Mario
Yeah, Mario
64.
64. Yeah, that was
Um,
incredible.
I actually
Incredible.
played that on that, and then I ended up playing it again on my handheld when it came out on that. So, um, I always had fun with that game. It was a cute, fun game. There was nothing bad, nothing wrong with the game. You know, Damn, that's still a hard question. I still don't think that's the right answer, but I'm gonna go with that one for now.
I don't think there could
All
be a
right.
wrong answer.
Yeah, I don't think. All right, GKB, it's on you, brother.
Oh my gosh, man, this is such a tough question. Oh man, if I had to pick one back, I probably have two right now. And that's Super Mario Kart on the SNES, man. I played so much of that game with friends and just talking so much crap to my friends and everything. And then I think Halo has just got a spot in my heart, the original Halo.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that would be it for me.
Okay. All right, Zaz.
Yeah, Call of Duty Black Ops 3.
Oh God.
No, I was trying to find a dice because it's a toss up between Mass Effect 2, the original BioShock, and Fallout New Vegas, and I was just racking my brain. I think I'm gonna go with Mass Effect 2.
Nice.
Good choice. Good choice. Why so Mass Effect over the other two?
You know what? Crap! I just saw somebody talk about Knights of the Old Republic, and I completely forgot about that one.
Yeah, for fun,
There
you
it
forget
is.
about games,
Yeah,
they'll come back.
There it is. Like, yeah, I forgot because that was such a long time ago. There you go, Knights of the Old Republic original. That's it.
All right. What about you, She-Wolf?
Ah, my favorite game of all time. Oh my god. You know what? It'd have to be Spyro. I love
Really?
Spyro. I love that little purple dragon.
Wow.
When I was younger, no matter what I was doing, I always wanted to play that game. And I still love him till this day.
Nice.
Someone said Zelda. Yeah.
Nice.
I
Yeah,
get like
Zelda.
jealous because my kids can play with Spyro on their Skylander. I get so
Yeah.
jealous.
Yeah. All right. So for me, Chris hit it. He's in the live chat here. He hit the nail on the head. For me, it's Zelda Ocarina of Time on
Ocarina was
64.
great.
Oh my God, that game was incredible. Spent many hours playing that. Me and my cousin. And oh goodness, Halo is like he said. Halo has to be there. Halo changed everything as far as shooters, first person shooters. It made shooters It made shooters relevant in the fact that like it had a main character and the story was so incredible, but you couldn't ignore the multiplayer. Like
Nope.
a lot of people before that were playing, like even with a game that's like huge, like for innovation, like GoldenEye, which was huge for a lot of people, like as far as multiplayer, didn't have much of a style. I don't even remember the campaign on GoldenEye, like honestly. So that my point is, Halo brought both. It came there on both fronts. It hit both fronts with me. First story shooter that actually cared about the main character. Like I was really invested in Cortana and his relationship or her relationship with Chief and his relationship with her. And then the wild card would be although people would call it a GoldenEye ripoff, it was Perfect Dark.
Perfect Dark.
Yeah, that game was incredible. I think it was just a sci-fi aspect of weapons and the laptop gun you could throw it on the wall and it'd be like a sentry and the craziness that it was. It took like GoldenEye to a whole new level as far as multiplayer for me. I enjoyed it more than GoldenEye. So those would be my three. There's a lot of other ones though that I probably missed. Like KOTOR was, like Zaz said earlier, KOTOR was incredible. It was amazing.
Mike Tyson's Punch Out was
Yeah,
awesome.
I was just about to say that.
Man.
I saw Eddie put that in.
I saw Eddie do that.
Punch Out. Yeah.
Oh yeah, Paperboy. Oh man, dude.
Yeah. Oh God, Paperboy.
He is throwing me back in my childhood.
Damn,
man.
Eddie, you're killing us over here, bro. Jesus Christ, man. Awesome. Okay. I think just for tonight, we're going to take one more. We usually only do 3 questions, but we'll take one more question before we wrap it up, everybody. So anybody got a really, really good question for the last one, just throw it in the chat right now. Okay. Let's see.
Crickets.
I think we all got derailed by the Darth Revan chat.
Yeah.
Going with.
I see. I see. One more, guys.
Come
One
on.
more. I know
It's just
somebody.
one more, guys.
One
Push
person.
it.
I'm taking an extra one for you guys tonight. I'm taking an extra question. Usually we only do three. So I know
It's because there's
somebody.
such a
Okay.
good chat going on. Everybody's
Yeah.
just like throwing out their
Everybody's
opinion.
throwing out their opinions. So. Oh, Eddie said he's asking us about universal apps. He did. He's like the third time he mentioned it. So I'm probably gonna go with Predator on this question about the universal apps on Xbox. I feel kind of saying that we're gonna see that at some point.
Um, you have to think about what's actually on the Windows 10 store because I think it's just going to be Windows 10 stuff. And I used to have a Windows phone. There really wasn't a lot on there. I mean, I
Mm.
could be wrong. I mean, I guess we'll find out here in a couple of days. But I mean, anything that brings more value to my Xbox, I'm all for it. You know, that's how I look at it. So,
Okay. All right. Cool. Cool. What about you, GKB? What do you think? That could be something cool there as far as those universal apps.
Oh man, I don't know. Like, man. I mean, I think so. I mean, I think they're gonna have some cool stuff come out, but I'm kind of with Predator on this one. Like, anything that gives people more options, adds more value, I'm all for. Like, I'm all about people just doing what they want to do. So I'm all for it. So I don't know if I would use a lot of them. Maybe I don't know.
Mm. Good point. Good point. What about you, She Wolf?
What universal apps are you guys talking about? Like, doesn't Windows 10 already have universal apps? Like, for instance, the Xbox app?
Um,
Like, what do you mean exactly by universal apps?
um, because aren't there apps that the Windows 10 or Windows doesn't have currently at this point? Like, and I guess universal apps are making it easier for like those apps to be put in the Windows Store. Like, it doesn't have like YouTube and stuff like that or something. Um, I don't know exactly. I have to go and reread the article. So I guess it's kind of a wonky question.
Oh, 'cause
Yeah.
I already thought that they already kind of had universal apps and stuff. Like, I use tons of different apps from the Windows 10 store to like pretty much do everything on my computer. So,
Oh, okay. Well,
I
great
honestly
point.
like. I don't even use like. I mean, maybe I'm using my Xbox wrong, but like, I use my Xbox to play games. Every now and
yeah.
then I use it for Netflix and HBO Go or something like that. But like, that's it. I don't really like watch YouTube on my Xbox. I don't really I don't really like use it for anything else except for games and maybe some videos every now and then. And that's it. I know some people like they'll have like a bunch of other crap on their Xbox, but like I mean,
Mhm.
I have cable. I mean, I use cable for cable, so I don't really need all this other stuff. I have a laptop. If I really want to use like, something about like just going through apps on my TV just doesn't appeal to me. I
Okay,
have a laptop for that.
the chat saying apps that work across Windows 10, mobile, and Xbox, and they're talking about like Chase Bank, uniform apps like OneDrive, Office, Uber, stuff like that.
I think for
Yeah.
like, yeah, I don't know, for like if you say like Office, let's say for instance, like it's gonna be on your computer or Xbox One. I
I
mean,
don't
are
know.
you really
Yeah,
gonna
I don't.
use it
Yeah,
though?
I mean,
Like
I'm
is
not using my
yeah,
60-inch TV to type a word product.
yeah,
I'm
like
not.
I don't go to
yeah,
my
yeah.
Xbox to be like, hey, I want to do my work doc on it for my network or whatever. I don't want to
I
do
mean, I
that.
know
And
mouse
that
and
would
keyboard
suck
support
for
is
people who
coming, but
don't
maybe
have
that's
like
it.
that little chat pad either, because then you have to like sit there with every button and go to each single thing, click, click.
Well,
Oh my
they're
God,
gonna
it
have
would
like
drive me
mouse
mad.
and
I can't
keyboards.
even do chat on friggin' Xbox because of that.
Well, they're doing mouse and keyboard support
Yeah, they're doing.
supposedly,
Yeah.
so I mean, I
Yeah,
guess maybe that's
that'll.
why. But
It's gonna be one of those things like there's gonna be a niche set of people out there that probably would use a lot of that stuff, but me
Uh,
personally, probably not. I just want to use my console to play games and hang out with my friends and talk a lot of crap and shoot people and stuff,
yeah,
man. That's
and I think that's most of us that we interact with. We get on, we play games, 90% of the time. So I use it for YouTube a lot. It's convenient for YouTube. I use it for when I watch Crunchyroll anime, Netflix, Hulu.
rock and roll. You're so funny.
Yeah, so stuff like that. But I don't, most of us here probably won't utilize most of those apps like that.
The only thing I really want my Xbox to be able to do that's like close to a computer is to like change the hard drive or like upgrade it without having to buy a new Xbox. Other than that, I wanted just an Xbox that plays my games.
Yeah. Rock and Rolla, if I see you carrying your Xbox around to work or something, dude, that'd be hilarious, bro.
Yeah, that'd be fun.
Don't forget to get a games then, because they have the best gaming travel monitors.
Yeah.
I don't know. What do you guys think about apps, man?
Well, I mean, we pretty much answered it on that last
Yeah,
one.
do I need to go? Because I was just going to say something negative, so I could probably stay out of it.
I already know. I already knew what you're talking about, Zach.
Oh, there you go. So if I don't need to say it, I mean, I'll just stay quiet this time.
I already know what you're talking about. All right, everybody. That's going to wrap up the show this Saturday. I don't want to keep you guys too long. I was telling everybody in the pre-show I'm going to try to keep it as close to the hour today as possible. But we appreciate you guys coming out, rocking out with us, spending your Saturday evening with us once again. I had meant to do another video this week. Didn't get around to actually doing it, so I'll probably be doing that video tomorrow when I get some free time, come out earlier in the week. But I'm going to go ahead and let everybody here on the panel go ahead and give their last shout out before we all get out of here. So go ahead and I'll start with Boba Fett over there. Zaz.
Yeah. Well, I mean, just look up my name, and I'm sure you can find it. It's Captain Zazmo across the board. I did post up some Far Cry Primal gameplay. I'm just about to the point where I'm actually going to give a full review on it, so I'll let you guys know where that is.
All right, cool. She-Wolf, go ahead.
Pretty much you can find me on Gamers Knows Best channel. You can also find me on Twitter at Desert She-Wolf with a 3. Other than that, I hope everyone enjoyed.
All right, GKB, it's on you.
All right, guys, it's GKB. You can find me on Twitter and YouTube. We have a lot of stuff coming up on Gamers Knows Best here. The console corner is going to have pretty much a whole brand new look to it, so I can't wait for you, the fans, to come and check it out. It's going to be pretty awesome for you guys. So we're also going to be doing a ton of Twitch streaming. I was thinking about doing like my 100K series, like you guys can watch me play games, and I'll answer all your questions and whatever, so be on the lookout for that.
For sure. All right, got you, Predator.
I plan on doing another podcast here on, following the events on the 1st once all the news drops. So you guys can check me out on the Xbox After Party. Follow me on Twitter at AWater76. I'm picking up my Elgato capture card, so I should be doing some streams here.
Nice.
Very nice.
Stuff there, but I try to do at least one a week, or if something really, one podcast a week. For like maybe 10-15 minutes, but if something serious drops, like some serious news drops, I'll definitely drop it out, drop another podcast when that stuff happens too. But like I said, tune in. I think it's Tuesday. It's the 1st, correct?
Yeah.
When everything comes out. So for the Xbox stuff that happened this past week, so I'll make sure you guys tune into my channel that day and check me out.
All right, for sure, cool. All right, and this your boy PTK Blam. You guys know me. Hit me on Twitter, PTK Blam, Facebook, PTK Blam. Thanks for you guys for subbing. Don't forget to favorite, rate, comment, like, everything, all that good stuff. And we're out of here, everybody. You guys have a good Saturday. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. Anybody here on the panel got anything else they want to say?
Take care of your fellow gamers, guys.
All right, everybody. You guys have a good one. We'll holler back at you next week. Everybody take care now.
Later.